what got you into writing books?
Well, really what got me into writing books was because I always was a fan of the literature of words, you feel me?
Okay.
So I always was the type to read short stories, go to mom's library, go get her books, the Omar Tyree's, the Terry McMillan's, the Walter Mosleys, the Paul Laurence Dunbars. It was a gang of books, so I always was a fan of, just writing, just reading. So that's what really got me into books.
Okay, quick question. What's one of your favorite books right now, that you ever read or ever read ever?
One of my favorite
that kind of
books
inspired you?
It's two books that kind of inspired me. One is NHB by Terrell Loco. He's a member of the Rolling 20 Bloods, and he wrote it like a biography. It's called NHB. It speaks about his life and how he grew up in the Rolling 20 Bloods. So that's one of my favorites that inspired me, and also one of the top ones is the Cartel series. If you know who that is, Wallace Coleman, like one of the infamous book writers that circulated through all the penitentiaries around America. So shout out to the Wallace Coleman.
And so is that what kind of got you into, inspired you also to kind of start your own publishing company, or what? I heard that you had your own publishing company.
Yeah. What got me to want to start my own publishing company, which I started in 2020, at the very beginning of the COVID. That's what made me start. But I always wanted to be an owner. I always had that ownership in me, the entrepreneur. So anything that I did, I wanted to have full ownership. So and I started writing books. So it makes perfect sense to own your own books, to own your own content, So that's what made me start my publishing company, which is called Game Tales Publications.
I seen. I was like, man, what is that? You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's dope. So Game Tales is your publishing company where you have other authors, come help out. You kind of put on for other authors.
Right. Well, the reason why I started my publishing company because, we're in South Central LA, LA County, Long Beach, Compton, Watts, Inglewood, Carson, Hawthorne, And when you think of books and black literature, you only think of the East Coast and down south, like the Shannon Holmes, the Aretha Clarks, the Toy Styles, the Silk Whites, the J.M. Benjamins. You only think about the East Coast, like Philadelphia. You won't never really hear LA stories. So I feel like it's our perfect time to shed light and put exposure on LA stories. That's why I started my publishing company, because our stories matters too. The whole world is infatuated with our culture. This LA lifestyle, this gangbang culture. The world picks up on this. You find people starting gangs in every country, every city.
You're right.
So, and I felt like it was my job to shed light on LA stories, which the whole world is contagious with. So that's why I started my publishing company. Because LA stories do matter.
It does. So basically, that's the significance of your writings. Is all about, of your authorship is all about the gang tales and all about the South
people
Central,
that come from the streets, and it's not even just when I started my publishing company. It's not just singling out LA County or California or West Coast. My publishing company is open to anyone in the world that comes from poverty, that comes from the street life.
Okay, so but with the gang tales, what is it highlighting? Is it highlighting? What's your goal? Are you highlighting the people that's coming out of the streets, or are you highlighting the people that's still in the streets?
It's both. Pretty much. It shows you we telling the stories of people that's in the streets, but it's written by people that came out the streets, that made it out. You feel me? So we're giving you an inside, a first perspective view of what's really going on in these LA neighborhoods, in these LA blocks. You feel me? From the people that actually had a chance to make it out. And that's what they hate. And we own all my authors, they own all their own work, and that's what they hate. Because I'm not the type to let our stories be told by people that look like black and brown, but the white person getting paid.
Right.
We keep all our own stories, and we're all, we're benefiting from our own stories. So that's the whole publishing. That's the whole point.
I like that. So I see that. Is this an author right here? Is this one of your authors that you are putting on right now, or what?
It's one of my newest poets, man. I just signed Ryder Reyes, man. He's dope when it comes to the words. He's a poet, man. So he can explain himself better than I can, man.
Shout out to Respect Music TV. My name is Eduardo Reyes. I've been writing for about 10, 11 years now. I started in high school. At the time that I started writing, I was in foster care. As a way to help me cope with what I was going through and express myself. This is my third book right here, Love, Sex, Intimacy, and Understanding, published by Gang Tales. Shout out to Gang Tales, Stanley James II. My goal with my poetry pretty much is to bring awareness to mental health, vulnerability, and social emotional intelligence. So being able to recognize your emotions and cope through them. Because it's difficult. It gets difficult, and that's what I want to do.
So what kind of inspired you to kind of like dab into like mental health?
So at the start of when I started writing, I had the goal of being a social worker. So I got through high school, went to Cal State Long Beach, graduated with my bachelor's in social work. So I pretty much accomplished the dream that I wanted. And so I was writing, and I published my book at the end of my last year of college.
So let me ask you a question. So what do you believe the benefits are for you of being having ownership of your authorship?
I think it's important because you have a way of creating passive income for yourself, and that money, it goes to you. It's not going to anyone else.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What is more important for you? Is it the freedom or the money of being independent, of ownership?
For being independent, it's the freedom. Being able to create what you want, when you want, releasing it at the time that you want. It's creating a name for yourself.
That's right.
And I think that's important.
That's right. So who was one of your authors that inspired you to get into writing?
Oh man. So at the time, I was reading like Lord of the Flies. I was reading 1984. Those are books that I recall like being younger reading. But as far as writing poetry in itself, I was inspired by the therapist that I was seeing. He suggested for me to write out my feelings, my thoughts, and through that I was able to get a start on writing.
Man, that's great, man. So is there if there's one author that you could maybe collab with or sit down in the room and take some advice from, who would that be?
An author? Oh man. Young Pueblo.
Okay.
Yeah, Young Pueblo. I've been seeing his work on like Facebook, Instagram. His work is it's very eye-opening.
Okay.
And I think it opens up the mind to thinking outside of what is.
Okay. And so what is your next goal? What is your future goals for the next 2-5 years? Like, are you looking to have your books in major, of course you want to have it in Nobles and Barnes and all the stores, but what's your goal right now?
My goal right now is just to create, expand with what I already have as much as I can. And then later on, I'll be coming out with another book, probably within the next year or two, honestly.
What do you think it's going to be called?
Oh, man. So this last book, I titled it Love, Sex, Intimacy, and Understanding, because you do get everything that is in the title. You get poems about love, you get poems about sex, which is the erotic poetry, intimacy, which is places and people that I've met, places that I've been to, and then the understanding is all the life part. I structured it backwards though, so you get the understanding, intimacy, the erotic poetry at the end, and then everything else in between.
Okay, so within this book, Is it? I know you say it's a little bit about all of that: love, sex, intimacy, and understanding. Is it also catering to mental health also within those?
Oh yeah. The understanding part is the mental health part.
Oh, the understanding. Okay. Great. So what other? If you can give us a little more details. Now you don't have to tell us everything. A little more details, a little bit about the book.
All right. So pretty much. So to explain the understanding part, it's poems about life, different lessons that I think are important, or as far as like that I've learned or come to acknowledge. I'll read a poem from the book, Love, Sex, Intimacy, and Understanding. So this poem, this is actually my third book. I have 2 other books, Journey Through the Void, Volume 1 and 2, can be found on Amazon. This poem is called Journey Through the Void. A lot of people have asked me what the void is, and I explained it in a poem. It goes, journey through the void means not running away from the bothers and burdens you feel. You feel, but do not linger for too long. Let it pass, grow and learn from the experiences. Having self-awareness and accountability, knowing you have choices, positive and negative consequences, and humility to admit when you're wrong. Accepting the outcome foreseen with a blind eye. Setting intentions and boundaries, knowing your goals, set a plan and execute. Showing respect for yourself and everyone else. There's enough chaos in the world to have it within yourself or harbored for anyone else. Overcoming self-doubt, self-sabotage, the anxiety of failing and not being enough, the emotional lows, depression and regression, breaking patterns and habits, realizing your potential and beyond, letting go of fears and self-limited talk. I can't, I won't, shouldn't, disappears from the vocabulary and thought. Some days are sunny and others are dim. Try not to burn out. When you reach that point, please reach out. We are never truly alone. Love will always find its way to self. Are you out of the void? No, because I occasionally feel the funk. It lingers, but I learn not to soak within myself. It's a symbiotic emotional state attached to the psyche. Do not let it control your being. Growing with the pain, every mistake has its lessons. Listen to the repetition, try not to get caught in the cycle. Escaping a trapped mindset, set yourself free.
Ooh, that was powerful, man. That was really powerful.
So that was Journey Through the Void from my book, Love, Sex, Intimacy, and Understanding. And I'll recite one more. This poem is called At First Sight. Love at first sight, how would I know it's there? Lately it's been about swiping left, swiping right. Where's the connection? Lost in the disconnect of the internet and dating apps, feeling like love at first sight is out of sight, blinded. I cannot see what love looks like. Forgetting the feeling, a world without butterflies. So when they ask, what does love at first sight look like? Tell them they're waiting until the next migration, the return of butterflies.
So where have you discovered him?
Hey, he's one of them hidden gems, man. I had to go to the college. I had to go. Shout out to Cal State Long Beach, man. I had to go searching one. You know.
So I had a quick question. So how do you go about by finding these authors and poets and artists?
You gotta be in the streets, man. You really gotta be in the streets. You gotta be tapped in. Like a lot of places people see me at is like unexpectedly. Like one night I'll just go hit one of these spoken words. One night I'll just go hit one of these book expos. One Saturday I might just go, just go to the library, see what, you gotta be in the streets, man. You gotta be tapped in.
So as an owner of a publishing company, you really out here foot on the ground, putting in that groundwork, reaching out to artists and poets to make the dream come true.
You see where I'm at now, you feel me?
Exactly.
I started 2 years ago, bro.
Okay.
You see where I'm at now?
Right, I do.
I asked any of my authors how they getting treated. Like, for real, Empire, if Empire can run it up, the same way with Cash Money, No Limit, all independent.
Gang Tales can do the same.
Gang Tales, we here, baby, for the next 100 years, for real.
That's right. So, what is Gang Tales' goal for the next? What is your guys' overall goal? I know it's to help artists, But what is the bigger goal other than just to help artists and put artists and
Next
have?
is the audio books, the movies,
Okay.
the soundtracks to the music. You know,
Okay.
we just gonna take it over for real.
Okay, so
All
y'all looking at
shit.
movies along with these poets and
Right.
books and things like
Short
that.
films, the Tubi, we in every avenue we can, man. All
Okay,
independent
okay.
For real.
I can see that. I can see some movie films behind a lot of these poets and books and things like that. So have you reached out to anybody so far to try to pitch that idea or what?
I mean, I got a few partners I'm working with. Shout out to Zab Judah. Shout out to a couple of my partners. They know who they are. But you know, I just want to move correctly. Like how Rick Ross says, I ain't trying to go fast. I'm trying to move correctly. You know, so it don't matter how long it takes, as long as the job get done and all the people that's under me get taken care of first. You know, so
Right.
that's what I'm on first.
That's right. I like that. Anything you guys want to wrap up and say before we
Hey,
leave?
shout out to everybody that's tuned in to the Respect Music TV, for real, man. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me, man. Run this up, bro.
Shout out to Gang Tales and the team.
Niggas ain't fucking with us.
Shout out to Respect Music TV. Thank you for having us.